This is the Talkin Buds Football Show. What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for checking us out. Brian, we started this podcast because we wanted to talk all things NFL, because the NFL is just the gift that keeps on giving. So many, like, we're 1 week in, and I'm sitting here and it's like we have a ton of storylines to get to, a ton of things to discuss. It's just, this league is unbelievable, man. It really is.
And like a ton of tight games, high scoring games too. Like we had every which way. We had a scoregami this week, 25-9. I love seeing those. So what a great week one.
If you're just joining us for the first time, this is the sort of sister podcast of the Talkin Buds Leaf Show. As I mentioned earlier, we talk all things National Football League. And Brian, there's only one place to start. Without question, one of the most unbelievable scenes I've ever seen in all of my years watching sports. Aaron Rodgers going down with a ruptured Achilles 4 plays into his first game as the starting quarterback for the New York Jets. It's just the whole scenario, like him running out of the tunnel with the American flag in New York on 9/11, the crowd going nuts. It's just like, it's a huge game within the AFC East. And he goes down, he gets hit, he stands up, he falls to the ground, and right away you're watching it and you're going like, what's going on here? Did he hurt his ankle? Did he hurt, like, he's had calf issues in the past. He's had a lot of calf problems, watched his whole career with the Packers. He's had frequent issues with his calves. And then you see him go into the tent. Then you see him go onto the cart, and you're like, oh man, this is not good. And you're scrolling through social media and people are zooming in, and you can literally see it pop in the back of his leg. And just an incredible scene, man. Like, unbelievable.
And once I saw on the cart, like I knew it was pretty serious. And did you see Peyton Manning's reaction? He was in shock.
Yes.
I think his clip went viral, but he couldn't even believe it. And you know, it's just such a shame. I was really looking forward to what Aaron Rodgers could do with that team this year. Now we got to watch Zach Wilson probably for the whole year, which kind of sucks. But
you know what, though, Brian? I'm glad you brought that up so quickly. I wouldn't be so sure of that, man, because this Jets offensive line is horrendous. And
oh, yeah.
if you watched Hard Knocks, it was a huge story on Hard Knocks with, like, it was like the second episode with Robert Saleh chewing them out and basically saying, we'll go as far as you guys are going to take us. Week 2, they're headed to Dallas. And you saw what the Cowboys did to Daniel Jones on Sunday Night Football. So I think they need to be really careful with Zach Wilson here, because the way that offensive line plays, no one is safe under center. If I'm a New York Jets fan, I am absolutely livid this morning that management thought you could go into this season with a 39-year-old quarterback. Now, for a 39-year-old, Rodgers is still pretty mobile. He's not Brady. He doesn't stand still in the pocket, but he's 39. He needs protection. To think you could go into the season with an offensive line like that, and he only took 4 snaps, all 4, the guy's running for his life.
I know. I was actually, because I'm a Bills fan, as we said in the first episode. So the first 3 plays, I was really excited about the game. I was like, look, we're all over him. This offensive line is a joke. When that 4th play happened, though, it's just kind of sad, because you're excited you got the stop and everything, and then you see that he's injured. I thought he was just being a diva when he threw the ball away. I was like, oh, give me a break, Rodgers, you'll be fine. But as I saw him walking off and everything, it kind of made me feel sad, because I was looking forward to this all year, like with the Bills and the Jets, because the whole division's crazy, and now it's kind of just like a 2-team division. I guess we'll see what the Patriots can do, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it was exciting for a bit.
Yeah, it was. And it's really, you know what, man, I listened to so many takes on this all day today. And from what I gathered, the rehab process for this type of injury, even for a guy in his prime, is like a grueling rehab process. So you're a 39er. He's going to be 40 next month. You're 40 years old going through this rehab process. Like, I think there's a very good chance. I believe it when people say, he probably doesn't want his career to end like this. Like he probably is like, I want to go out on my own terms. But man, to be 40 years old and to be like, you're like 4, 5, 6 months into this rehab process, and you still have another like several months ahead of you to get your leg back. Like that's going to be tough, man. I would not be surprised if we've seen Aaron Rodgers take his last snap in the NFL.
I kind of feel like we have seen it. Like in Toronto, we all saw this with Doug Gilmour when he returned to the Leafs. Like, we've seen this many times, especially with older players, and how often do they really recover from something like this? And as a quarterback, you need your Achilles really to play the position. So I think he's done, to be honest.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see, and we should segue to the actual game, a heartbreaker for your Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets winning it in overtime. I'm going to turn the floor over to you. But before I do, can I just give you my as a fan of another team, but a guy who watches the Bills, like we're both from the Toronto area. The Bills are like the prominent team here. Can I give you my just sort of outsider's assessment of what I see?
Yeah,
I don't like the vibes around this football team. There is a need for a cultural shift here. Josh Allen is a wild stallion. He's a wild thoroughbred stallion. And he had the perfect trainer, jockey, whatever you want to call it, in Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll left, and last night, in my opinion, was a regression for Josh Allen. Like very, very, very poor decision making, putting himself in danger again. Like there's the one play where he's running and he doesn't slide. He kind of jumps into the guy, and it's like, what do you like? Come on, man. Like you're getting to be a veteran quarterback in this league. Like this organization, like I said, you have a jewel, a gem in Josh Allen. And you need to be assessing the entire staff, doing everything you can to get the most out of this franchise quarterback. My opinion, they should have fired McDermott at the end of last season. They didn't. They should have gutted the whole staff, quite frankly. And they should have set out to find an offensive coach like a Kyle Shanahan, like a Sean McVay, a Matt LaFleur, to come in and really say, we're going to push you to be the best of your ability. And to me, if I'm a Bills fan this morning, that's what I'm the most upset about. I don't love the vibes around the team right now.
I agree. And we talked about this last year, you and I, about McDermott. He was on my hot seat all season last year. He's terrible start, and especially now that he's the one calling the defense. Like we don't have Leslie Frazier anymore, so there's no more excuses. And that drive by Zach Wilson at the end, we couldn't stop anything. Breece Hall was running everywhere. The run defense is still horrendous. So Sean McDermott is really not doing anything to change that. The offensive line as well, Brandon Beane, nothing was addressed in the offseason, and it's the exact same looking thing that I'm seeing from last year. Josh Allen's running for his life, and for some reason, I guess because people know that he can make crazy plays, everybody's ready for what he's going to do now. So you can't just like sporadically run around and find an open receiver every single play. And like with the rushing game, we get two brand new running backs, and in total, like they like under 70 yards in total for these two guys, which is outrageous. And Josh Allen threw the ball 41 times again. So clearly Ken Dorsey hasn't learned anything. Sean McDermott hasn't learned anything.
The Jets defense they just know what he's gonna do. Like they've got his number, man.
They feasted on him, and like it wasn't even like the Bills are trying to even switch up the game plan. They just kept throwing the same plays out there. And this is my problem with Ken Dorsey. He can't adapt in situations. He's got no situational awareness. The fact that he's a coordinator, it blows my mind that he was actually put forward for this kind of job. Clear, like last year, he would have meltdowns in the booth, can't handle the stress. This is not the role for him. It's just, I don't know. Stephon Diggs had a good game, but even his vibes have been so bad since the offseason and the start. I can just tell that he is he's finished with Josh Allen. I can just see it.
What
Even
like
when he
why do
gets a
you think
first
that is?
down, he's just like
Why do you
so aggressive.
why do you think that is?
I don't know. Like I feel like he wants more targets, and I don't understand where that's coming from. Because in comparison to all the other receivers, like he got 10 targets last night, and the other closest target count was Kincaid at 4. So like that's also my problem. We try to feed Stephon Diggs every play of the game when we have all these other talented wide receivers. Like to start the game, Hardy, he had 3 catches, slot receiving catches that were getting positive yards every time, and then all of a sudden, no more attempts the rest of the game, no more catches. So I don't. There's a lot of problems with the Bills, and honestly, for me, I can't see them getting past the first round. If this is the team that we have, it started last year with the Bengals game, and it's just continued to look like a disaster.
I wonder if Diggs is maybe feeling the same thing that I was kind of alluding to a few minutes ago, which is like this organization is not moving in the right direction. It's not doing what other teams are doing. Like we're going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers. It's like they have built an offense that you can plug a guy like Brock Purdy in there and he looks all world. Like we're
I
going
know.
to talk about the Green Bay Packers and what Matt LaFleur did with Jordan Love. Like it's like when you have an absolute thoroughbred like Josh Allen, like you need every fiber of this organization needs to be focused on gearing everything they can towards making him the best. He has the talent to be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, but the way this offense and this organization is operating, it's not. And that's not to take blame away from him. He makes boneheaded decisions out there, and he needs to
You saw it
stop
last
doing
night.
that. Yes.
He was ridiculous last night.
Yeah, at some point you gotta like, I don't want to say grow up, but it's like you gotta grow up, man. Like you can't that's what's gonna set you apart. That's why a lot of people see Joe Burrow has kind of leapfrogged him in terms of like the hierarchy in the NFL. Well, because Joe Burrow is just he makes smart decisions. He's careful with the
Did he on
football.
Sunday?
No, not sorry. Sunday he did. Sunday he did not. But I think going into the season, a lot of people have Joe Burrow second behind Patrick Mahomes in the league because Burrow has just shown a maturity in the pocket that Allen has gotten away from since Daboll left.
As much as I just joked, I agree. Like my list is Mahomes 1, Burrow 2, Allen. Allen's teetering off the third position. I'm still going to put him there because I'm a Bills fan, and it's going to take a lot for me to sort of put him off the third position. But I'm not naive to see what he's been doing, especially after that elbow injury, just the way he's been playing. It's tough. The first interception, that aired out bomb that he tried to throw to the end zone, like what? I get that. I didn't mind it because like it's better than punting because at least we had it within the 10-yard line, but still it's such a boneheaded play. Yeah. And when I saw that, I knew this game was just going to be one of those nights. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, man. They had to. I mean, they host the Raiders at home on Sunday. That's a team that they should beat, but
they should. They got to spread it around. Like Gabe Davis needs to get involved. So
yeah.
We need a 1A, 1B, and you need to throw him more than 2 targets to get him involved. So I think this whole team needs a shakeup.
So I've got several notes here, takeaways from week 1 that I'm just going to kind of throw out at you that we'll talk about. The first one, I think we have to start with the Thursday night game. The Detroit Lions upsetting the Kansas City Chiefs 21-20. Man, listen, I know that Travis Kelce wasn't playing, and that definitely impacted the Chiefs' offense. There's no 2 ways about it. But a win's a win, and the Detroit Lions went into Arrowhead. And the last 2 games, the Detroit Lions ended Aaron Rodgers' career as a Green Bay Packer and then defeated the defending Super Bowl champs at home on opening night. This is a team that I think, as much as I love my Packers, and we're going to talk about them in a second, the clear favorite to win the NFC North, and a team that do I think the Detroit Lions are Super Bowl bound? No. But do I think they're a playoff team that is going to be a tough out for anyone they play this year? Absolutely.
I think they're one of the scariest teams to play. Like they're not going to win the Super Bowl, obviously, but they love playing that spoiler. Like Dan Campbell especially. And like I'm drinking the Dan Campbell Gatorade. I love this guy.
Yeah, oh yeah. He's the master motivator, and they have built a tough, we just talked about the New York Jets offensive line. The offensive line for the Detroit Lions won just about every battle on Thursday night. Like, this is a big, tough, mean, nasty football team. Jared Goff, who, what a story. Like, the guy was kind of he was sort of like a dump off in the
He's a
Matthew
castaway.
Stafford trade. Yeah. And he's really come into his own and has sort of owned this role. You know what, man? Say what you want about Jared Goff, and he definitely has his downfalls, but if that guy has time, he can deliver as good a ball as anybody in this league.
Well, you saw when the Rams were that good with him on there. Like he was one of the best quarterbacks in the league at that time, and him and Mahomes would have crazy matchups. You know, he's 2-0 against Mahomes now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got his number, but I just love the Lions, man. I love seeing that kind of fan base having success.
Yeah, I totally agree. Second note here, the San Francisco 49ers are an absolute wagon. They beat
It's
the brakes off the Pittsburgh Steelers. That game was over. Like halfway through the first quarter, that game was over.
when they play defense too, it's like the most violent thing I've ever seen in my life.
I
Like
know,
they're
I know.
killing people out there.
They are. And Kyle Shanahan continues to cement his legacy as, without question, the best offensive minded coach in the National Football League. Brock Purdy looks all world out there.
I think he might be a good quarterback.
Yeah, but
I'm getting fooled by the system, but he looks so good.
I think he does have a lot of talent. He can throw a great ball, but plugged into this Kyle Shanahan offense, man, oh man, do they look good? I bought in. I said last week I bought into the Steelers going in. I was like, the Steelers are going to have a top defense. They might not win, but they'll probably cover. Mike Tomlin will have the team ready to go. Blah blah. Nope, forget that. They got their asses handed to them
Yeah, it was all
by the
those catches by
49ers.
George Pickens in preseason for me. I was like, wow, Steelers are going to be great. Look at all these catches, but preseason always does that to me.
Yeah, my way too early sort of proclamation is the 49ers are the team to beat in the NFC. It's not the Philadelphia Eagles, it's the San Francisco 49ers. Like, they
I
are
100% agree.
yeah, they are the team to beat in the NFC. And now let's get into it. Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers defeat the Chicago Bears 38-20.
Dude, I'll let you go off, but I love watching his spiral. That's what
So,
I'm going to say, and he's got such a nice throw. Go off, Rob.
listen, it's early. Do I think am I ready to be like, "Oh my god, this is it. It's the third straight guy they've had after Favre and Rodgers." No, but here's what I will say. That guy has marinated on the sideline for 3 years. 3 years. He's marinated on the sideline. And what that has done, I am so impressed watching this kid's poise in the pocket. He is not scared. He looks cool as a cucumber out there. He takes his time. I tell you what, man, Aaron Rodgers, when he was sitting on the ground on Monday night, was thinking about the glory days of the Green Bay Packers offensive line, because the Packers have always prioritized pass protection. And you saw it with Jordan Love, tons of time to throw, just like the touchdown pass. He did it all without Christian Watson. They got Aaron Jones involved, who showed once again he's a top 3 running back in the league. Like, he's in terms
Easily.
of, yeah, easily. And he's also the type of back that he's not, you can split him out wide and throw him a pass and he can run, get some yards after the catch. Listen, I still think the Lions are going to win the division, but I think the Packers, if Matt LaFleur can scheme up plays the way he schemed them up on Saturday, the Packers could definitely make a push for a wild card spot and potentially be a playoff team.
I agree because that division, it's really just like the Packers are the second team. The Bears suck, so it's
Yes.
basically the Lions one, Packers two, and
The
I'm
Vikings.
pretty
The
sure you
Vikings
could get
got
the
me
wild.
eliminated from Survivor, Brian.
Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Oh,
I did say you could blame me for that.
oh my God. Just but anyways, it's like I said, we shouldn't be getting carried away. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, they did it again. They did it again. He's still super green. But I talked to you last week about, we're gonna see I was really watching Matt LaFleur. And you know what? There is something to be said when you have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers. He's got a lot of say and sway, right? So there's like Jordan Love is not necessarily checking out of Matt LaFleur's plays. He's not quite there yet. So everyone is sort of bought in and aligned on the vision and is executing, and there's no drama and there's no like, oh, well, I don't like this play. So I'm gonna uh check out of it and throw a back. I'm going to force it to Devontae. And like, there's just not, that didn't happen. He just went through his reads, went through his progressions, found open guys, got it to Aaron Jones, who opened up the passing game. Couldn't have gone any better. I'm also so happy that this ridiculous hype bubble on the Chicago Bears got burst. I'm not a Bears hater like a lot of other Packer fans, but I did think that some of the hype towards them in the offseason was insane. Like,
Because
like some people were talking about Justin Fields as a potential MVP. It's like, what? What?
like, what are we doing right now? Like, he had a nice little year last year, but you're not going to like make 10 steps be an MVP right away, and they've got no other player on the team. Like, who else is good on that team?
I, I, Justin Fields is kind of in a similar situation to Josh Allen in that I do think he's got a lot of talent, but like you gotta gear the offense and the whole sort of vibe around him and put him in a situation to succeed, and they're not really doing that. Like the guy's got a potential to be like a Lamar Jackson-esque, the way he can move his legs and get out of the pocket, but they just, yeah, I don't know, it's a strange offensive philosophy that they have there.
I agree. Like, it's very confusing watching them. Even last year when they were losing, they were making smart plays with Justin Fields. It seemed like they were building a playbook for him. And this week, it just seemed like they forgot everything they had learned last year.
Yeah, so like I don't know, man. And another game that really stood out, and a team we should talk about, is the Dallas Cowboys kicking the crap out of
Oh,
the New York Giants 40-0. That game was really interesting because there's been a lot of talk about Dak Prescott and like, is he good? And I had reservations last week talking to you about it and where he's at in his career, plus Mike McCarthy calling the plays. But you know what? When you got studs running around on the defensive side of the ball that are getting takeaways and scoring points for you, you don't need to worry about what Dak Prescott is doing.
and honestly, like, how good was Dak Prescott really? When
It-
like he didn't throw for any touchdowns. I mean, he
no.
didn't throw no interceptions. So I mean, that's a pretty good game.
Yes.
143 yards. So it was mainly their running game and Tony Pollard, but the Cowboys defense is just insane. Like, they're killers out there. I would hate to
Yes.
face that defense, especially in that division twice a year. I would rather not be in that division, to be honest.
That
Because
Michael
like, you see
Parsons,
those
man,
guys, yeah. Oh,
he is
and like,
special.
he's so special, and like their defensive line gets after it. Diggs is back there just messing up all the receivers. It's pretty cool to watch them.
Brian, what will go down, in my opinion, is one of the most fun and exciting week one games I've ever watched. The Miami Dolphins defeating the LA Chargers 36-34. Tua Tagovailoa, 28 of 45, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. Let me tell you something. I know you don't think this, so I'm not going to speak to you. I'm going to speak to other members of the Bills Mafia. If you think that now that Aaron Rodgers is hurt, this is going to be an easy walk towards a division title, if Tua Tagovailoa can stay healthy, the Miami Dolphins are going to have something to say about that. That is now that Rodgers is done, you need to shift your focus to the Miami Dolphins, because that offensive performance was something on Sunday.
And dude, like, it's not even really Tua. It's kind of the 49ers situation, because he did have a lot of underthrows in the first half that I noticed. I was watching for that. But when Tyreek gets the ball, he will knock off another 30 yards after the catch. So I mean, like, 215 of those yards were just Tyreek alone.
Well, you said it, Mike McDaniel, formerly of the San Francisco 49ers and the
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan coaching tree.
And he does the thing where if they don't have a play, he'll just say find Tyreek, and he's okay with running that play, which is
Yeah.
so genius because it works every time.
Tyreek Hill is a cheat code.
I know, and especially with him and Waddle, it's like, that's so unfair.
Yep. Oh man, That game was incredible. I think the Chargers are another team. Like they brought
So
Kellen Moore
sad.
in. Yeah, they brought Kellen Moore in, and I thought their offense looked good, but you got Brandon Staley running it, and it's like you got another thoroughbred at quarterback. We all this like I don't understand, Brian. Like I don't understand. Like when you have the opportunity to get one of these blue chip once in a lifetime quarterbacks at that very moment, the sole focus of your organization, because modern day NFL is all about scoring. Yes, having a good defense helps. There's no two ways about it. You don't want to have a crappy defense. You want to have a good defense. But modern day NFL is all about scoring points. And if you get one of these blue chippers, you need to just if I'm an owner, a general manager, or president of football operations, whatever, I'm like, henceforth, every decision we make will be based around putting this blue chip quarterback in a position to succeed.
Which, if I was the general manager, let's say the Bills, I would get rid of a defensive head coach and I'd bring in the most offensive head coach I could imagine of, and then
Yes.
hire a defensive coordinator. What a world that would be, eh?
I know. I know. Like it's like just like could you imagine what Josh Allen would be with a even with like a Matt LaFleur, like a
Or Brian Dable, let's say, as a
Brian
head
Dable.
coach.
Yeah. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. Instead of
which is
letting
where
him
they should
go.
have gone.
Well, I bet you Brian Dable wouldn't mind Josh Allen under center right now after
Yeah,
Danny Dimes. Oh
I
my
know.
god. Oh my
I
god.
I like Daniel Jones, but just when you watch that, I can't believe they gave him that kind of money. To be honest,
Oh, I just I don't know. A couple other things just to hit on really quick. The Cincinnati Bengals. I mean Joe Burrow had an injury. He didn't play at all in the preseason. It really showed. The Brown.
89 yards or something.
I'm not worried about the Bengals. I think they'll be fine. Like I think when all is said and done, they had a slow start last year. I think when all is said and done, they'll be right there again. They'll be a playoff team. The Browns are for real. Like that's a division that I mean, we talked about it last week when we did our division previews, but like that's a division that's got like Browns are legit, Ravens are legit. Like maybe the Steelers will figure it out, but like that's a tough division.
And like people have slept on how good the Browns defense is. Miles Garrett was everywhere in that game, and he
Yep.
was he was on one too. Do you see him doing the basketball shuffle in front of them before he got the sack?
Oh yeah.
If you haven't seen it, you should watch that video. I watched it probably 20 times. He's just
Nice.
dribbling between his legs and dekes out the center and just crush it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, Minnesota Vikings, as we mentioned earlier, losing to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. The Vikings won a lot of one-score games last year. They're going to regress to the mean this year. They did not look very good. I think this is going to be a come down to earth year for the Minnesota Vikings.
I think it's going to be your Justin Jefferson at the end is asking for to be traded.
There was that shot of him at the end of the game.
Yeah, he looks
Yeah.
pretty upset.
Last game I want to touch on. I was pretty impressed with the New England Patriots. They started pretty slow, and I thought, oh, this could be a blowout win. And Mac Jones struggling again and going, oh no, oh no. And they, you know what? They battled, man. They came right back and they battled.
Oh, against a hard Philly team too. Like that was pretty good matchup, and it just shows you what the AFC East is working with right now. Like the Patriots are the lowest ranked team, and they're no joke, really. Like they're on their way to becoming a pretty decent team, especially with Bill Belichick. He can always throw something out. Like I know he was horrible last year, but he's still Bill Belichick. So I never sleep on the Patriots.
Yep, 100%. All right, bud. Let's move into week 2. I'm going to turn it over to you here, and you're going to take everybody through some of your gambling picks for week 2. Take it away, my friend.
Yeah, so what I want to do a few things. I want to do like a favorite game of the week, a favorite underdog of the week, my favorite over of the week, and my favorite under of the week. So I'm just going to do 4 picks here, and you could ride with me or you could fade me.
All
Fading
right.
me sometimes works, so
Okay.
let's see.
Take
So
her
my
away, pal.
favorite of the week is going to be the Green Bay Packers. It's only -2 against Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah.
I think they're winning this game by at least 10 points. Jordan Love looked really good to me last week, and the Falcons they don't have a great defense, and I think you guys can just run all over them.
Yeah, I
So
mean
I'm
Bryce Young looked halfway decent against that Falcons defense
Yeah,
last weekend. So it's possible.
and they're my favorite right now. I'm so obsessed with Jordan Love, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's his spiral. I just love watching it.
You know what?
All
I
right,
told you it's he looks so composed.
he does, and he's such a good game manager. I know I kind of made that seem like it was a bad thing last week, but I think that's exactly what Green Bay needs is a game manager like Jordan Love.
Yes, 100%.
Perfect. So my favorite underdog of the week is actually going to be the New England Patriots plus 2.5 against the Dolphins
Ooh, that. Oh,
because the Dolphins are riding high.
yeah.
Everybody's already crowned them based in the AFC East after the Bills Monday Nighter. The Dolphins are on cloud nine right now. Bill Belichick he's not going to stand for that, and he hates the Dolphins too. So I think you're going to see a heavy run game and a hard defensive game, and the Dolphins are going to be swallowed up in that game. Give me
I'm
your
gonna
thoughts, Rob.
I'm gonna ride with you on the Packers. I this one, it's the line that scares me. I've no doubt that New England's gonna come to play and make life hard on Tua, but I don't know the 2.5 like that's scary. If it was like a 4, if the line was like 4 or 5, I'd be all in there with you. But the 2.5 scares me.
I'm only taking it because I think New England's going to win this game. That's the
Oh,
only reason I'm taking it. Like
okay. All
a
right.
outright
All
win.
right.
So
So
if you
I'll
want to take
ride
the
with
money
you.
line,
Yeah, I'll ride with you on the Packers, and I'm chickening out on the Patriots.
all right. So for my favorite under, I'll start with under first because this one I just love it. I love when you see one that's in the 30s.
Yeah.
So we have the Commanders and Broncos. I want under 38.5. Please give that to me. I
Yeah.
want like 13-9. That would be a perfect game for these two.
You know what? I'm gonna ride with you on that one as well. I gotta be honest with you, man. I think by week 7 or 8, we're gonna have stories coming out that Sean Payton and Russell Wilson aren't speaking to each other. Like I think
Yeah.
that's gonna like but by week 8 or 9, we're gonna be talking about how that relationship has completely dissolved and Sean Payton is just ready to move on from Russell Wilson at the end of the season. Because make no mistake, it'll be Russell Wilson who's out the door at the end of the year, not Sean Payton.
Agreed. And Sean Payton has a very short fuse, especially for someone like Russell Wilson. We've seen the comments recently about the babies and all that stuff.
Yeah. So I'll ride.
Yeah.
I'll ride with you on that.
Perfect. And my favorite over, when I choose an over, I like to go big or go home. So I saw this one. It's for 51.5 Jags and Chiefs. I think that's gonna be a high scoring game.
Brian, I think that's the game of the weekend. Like if you look at the week 2 slate, like I'll be honest, I was looking at it yesterday and I was like, yeah, there's some games on here that are really interesting. Like I think the Thursday nighter of Vikings Eagles is interesting because the Eagles win was not that great over the Patriots, and I think the Vikings like this is a huge game for them. Like they have to win this game. Whereas the Eagles, they're like, no, we need to make a statement here and show that we are still a powerhouse in the NFC. I think that's interesting. I think your game you just pointed out, the Chiefs Jags, that's the game of the weekend in my opinion. That's
I just see points when I look at that. It's
yes,
just points everywhere.
100%. I'm gonna ride with you on that one as well. I think Ravens Bengals is also an interesting game. That's like the Bengals don't want to go down 0-2, but they're right back against the Ravens. That's super interesting. And
And
yeah,
the one,
go ahead.
like I'm getting nervous here because like the Bills, they have to change this. They're on the spread against the Raiders, they're -9. And looking at that, I can't even believe that they're favored after Monday night.
That especially with that line, like that seems like a huge the Raiders like they looked okay against the Broncos. Like they didn't blow me away or anything, but like they don't. I don't think the Bills are gonna walk through the Raiders. I think they should win the game, but I don't think they're gonna.
Not by 2 scores. Like
No,
I can see
agreed,
this being a field goal. You know what I mean? Like
100%.
-9 is just that's 2 years ago. Bills Vegas is still Vegas has that in their heads. Like 2 years ago, this is Buffalo. Not the same.
So there you go. I'm riding with you on 3 of your picks, and I'm chickening out on the Patriots.
We'll see.
Yeah. What's your survivor pool pick of the week? Mine is the who is mine? Mine's the Dallas Cowboys. That's my survivor pool pick of the week. I don't think there's a hope in hell that the New York Jets are beating the Dallas Cowboys.
That's a pretty safe bet, to be honest. Mine is who are the 49ers playing?
The
Yeah,
Rams.
I'll take the 49ers.
Okay, there you go.
That would be the easiest bet of all time.
Nice. Awesome. Well, buddy, just like that, week 1 is down. Before you know it, we'll be sitting here heading into the playoffs, and then before you know it, we'll be back into the dreary long off season of the National
Oh,
Football League. But I don't want to go there right now. That's negative. We don't need to go there right now. We need to be positive and enjoy the fact that football is back. We want you to come along and ride along the season with us. Hit that like and subscribe button below. Every little bit helps. We really, really appreciate it. Brian and I are going to be here every week discussing the National Football League. Stick around. We'll see you next time.